If you want to find out what the next big metaverse project is going to be that can take on the likes of Decentraland, Axie Infinity, and Blocktopia, stay tuned. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Decentralized Chain. It's Faraz, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about an upcoming project that you can still get into the public sale for in order to be able to make some serious gains. But before we start talking about gains, if this is the first time you're here and you want to learn more about crypto, whether it's news, insights, or analysis to help you get that edge, start now by hitting the subscribe button below and the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. And better still, why don't you come and join us over in the Telegram community? We're already talking about it there before we talk about it on YouTube. So today we are going to be talking about Gamium. Now, Gamium is a metaverse project, but there is one key issue. When we look at all of these metaverse projects today, one of the key things that is missing is that all these metaverse projects are pretty much built on different ecosystems, different blockchains, and the one thing that they don't do is provide any interoperability. By that, what I mean is that you're not able to jump from one metaverse to the other. You have to fundamentally be in a whole complete new world, a whole complete new person. Basically, there's no way to be able to port yourself over between these. And I think this is where really Gamium really shines, because their idea is to connect all of these metaverses together. And they do that in two ways. First of all, there are two components in terms of what they're actually building here. The first one is what they call the avatar. Now, this is a digital identity that is represented by a soulmate NFT that brings together all of the digital fingerprints of a person. So the idea is, you have 3D bodies that have on-chain and off-chain data, which ultimately makes that digital fingerprint. So that is what you can actually port from one metaverse to another. It is your passport, basically. And, like we have with Web3, they still basically incorporate these Web3 values within Gamium, right? So values like decentralization, values like pseudonymity, they're all reflected within the avatar itself, which is portable, persistent, non-corruptible. It has a verifiable identity as well, and that allows it to be used anywhere. And basically, when we say anywhere, we mean any metaverse or Web3 application can use the Avatar SDK, which is the software development kit, to make their users more valuable. And that's really how we get that portability piece in there. The second bit here that you also then need to bear in mind is that they also have the actual Gamium Metaverse itself, right? And really, this is important because this is where you end up actually building everything, right? So the idea behind it is that it combines all the social features with a 3D and fully immersive decentralized world that you can play in, right? And here the avatars are the people who make the Gamium Metaverse, and they can use the Gamium SDK to actually build anything they want. So the actual metaverse within Gamium is called Genesis. It's the center of the Gamium world. And this is where you can find all the Gamium buildings and other things. So here in these buildings, you can use unique apps like decentralized chats, 3D calling apps, DeFi apps, job portals. You're really creating that universe around it. And the idea behind it is that in Genesis, these are also immersive experiences. So, events that you can actually throw on for VIPs at the same time. And people who are avatars, right? So people are the avatars. They can live on the island or outside of Genesis, so they can live and build anything they want. They can build their houses, make 3D objects, host events, connect their store, advertise, or even rent their space with the help of the actual SDK. And so really, if you kind of think about it, avatars are going to be able to help you make money and also bring any app into the Gamium world, actually making it the app store of the metaverse. So there are so many ways you can do this. Now, let's actually dig a bit deeper into the actual project itself and just see, what is actually coming up for it. So first and foremost, always good to check out the roadmap. Now, in terms of the actual work, that all started in Q3 last year. Since then, clearly, there's been a fair bit of conceptualization, talent acquisition, as you need to do in order to grow your team, marketing strategy. So, early supporters, the 3D art development has already started. There's plenty of that online that you can see as well. website, 2D development, the white papers already as well, which is kind of semi what we're using in order to generate this review today. Smart contract development, which have also been audited by Certicate, so that's always a plus. You've got the 3D development has already started as well. Now, going into Q1 2022, we've got the GMM public sale. Now that's coming up. It's not far off, and we'll talk about that in a bit. You've got the NFT generation event, customization, metaverse land sales as well as some of the first apps for the avatars. Now, in all honesty, if we're kind of looking at this project, they're not really just here today and gone tomorrow. You do have a fair bit of work on the roadmap before we really even get to our metaverse beta release, which is due in Q3 of 2022. But assuming we get through all of these milestones, then we certainly have a project that has the opportunity to take on some of the big contenders in this space, and if not, do it significantly better. And we'll talk a bit about that in a moment. Now, in terms of the roadmap, clearly it's being delivered by this team. It's a full-time team working on Gamium, so you've got about 30 people according to the white paper, and obviously constantly growing. And I think the key element here is full-time, because what we do see with a lot of other projects is that you have some full-time members and you have some part-time members. So it's good to see that we actually have a full complement. And, it ranges from everything you need from marketing to social media in order to actually, take care of the Telegram chat. So you have all of that across the board. And clearly all of these individuals do have a decent background. They've been in crypto for a while. They're clearly well educated as well at the same time, and, are well versed within this space. Now, one of the key things that we all know within any crypto project is really when we talk about partnerships. Now, partnerships, are needed in this space. In order for you to grow as a project, you need to be partnered up. And one of the things that I absolutely love and I'm a big fan of is, one of the launch pads that they partnered up with here is DAO Maker. It is one of the best for accelerating projects. In fact, if you have a look at a lot of DAO Makers shoe events that have happened, you do tend to see that their returns are significantly great. And so this is always a positive for me when you have these types of VCs involved. And beyond that, there's plenty. There's Metrics, there's Magnus, there's Vent, there's Venly, and also we have plenty of key online opinion leaders as well. So you've got Mr. Beast. That's a YouTube channel with just under 100 million subscribers. So when you start talking about projects on those types of platforms, you can see the outreach going really quickly, which is always good. And then, you've got the likes of The Moon, Carl, Dustin Planthorpe. So there's a fair few that we've sort of gone through. So definitely worth check out the white paper. Now, let's talk a bit about the actual token itself, because I think that's quite important to understand. Now, 2 tokens. You've got GMM, which is your governance token, as well as your exchange token. So this is what's really going to be trading up and down on exchanges. And then you've got the MST token, which is the utility and reward token. So this is what's really going to be used in game. Now, interestingly enough, what I do like about this is the tokenomics. The tokenomics in itself have actually been designed very well. Right? And the reason I say that is the early supporters get it at 0.00016 cent, right? Private and public pre-sale, they both get it at the same value, which is 0.003, okay? So the early supporters don't even get a 50% discount on it, actually. It's a bit less than that. But interestingly enough, when it comes to actually the vesting of the tokens, this is where I think it really shines through, because the early supporters only get 10% up front on TGE. There's a 3-month lock, and then the rest of it is distributed over 2 years. The private sale also, they get 10%, 3-month lock, and distributed over 2 years. But remember, the private sale also get it for the same price as the public and community. So they're not getting any discount. In fact, they're being provided only 10% upfront, and they still got a 24-month lock in place. Whereas with the public pre-sale and the community, they get it for the same price as private. They get 20% of their tokens upfront with a 3-month lock and 80% distributed over 12 months. So really, the way it's been designed, I would say, pretty much does give the advantage to the actual public participants over the early supporters or the private investors, because the ones that can dump, if they do, are the public, really, which is a good way of providing assurances that the idea is that you're kind of looking for longevity in the project, not just to get tokens and hope to get rich quick. So clearly, that is not something that's being done here. Now, I did mention before that, there is massive opportunities with this project because you kind of need to benchmark. You got to compare it with its competitors. So when we look at the competitors, they're going against the likes of Decentraland, Axie Infinity, as well as Blocktopia. So when you kind of look at these, let's have a look at Blocktopia. What's it sitting at currently? Just a little over $2.8 billion market cap. Let's have a look at Decentraland. That's sitting at just a little over 5.8 billion market cap, as well as Axie Infinity, and that's just over 13 billion market cap. So even if we can get close to these projects, right? And I don't see why we can't, because when you have a look in terms of what they're out to provide, realistic graphics, yes, Decentraland, Axie Infinity, they don't have it. Blocktopia, they do. Interoperability. This is one of the key things, right? Because no one is actually offering interoperability at the moment across metaverses. And here, this is what Gamium is planning to do with their SDK. The others don't even have that on this space. So you already have the edge there. Digital identity. Once again, interoperability. How are you going to be able to move between metaverses? That is the digital identity. You need that in place in order to do that. The others don't have that. Here, Gamium does. Social components. Gamium has plenty of those. So does Decentraland, Blocktopia, Axie Infinity. No. Same goes with in terms of custom jobs, avatar customization. Like I said, Gamium has all of these additional advantages over the current competition. So even if they're able to carve off, they don't even have to carve off 100% in terms of them. Normally when I see with these projects coexist alongside these projects and ultimately take a bit of market share with that. So you can go anywhere up to 1,000x on this project if they can deliver all of these things that we've seen in the roadmap. So these are things that you really want to keep an eye on, considering that the market starting cap is around $609,000. And obviously, as I mentioned before, some of these have already considerably gone up since, but there's easily 1,000x here, minimum of 1,000x here if you kind of look at it. But remember, this isn't financial advice, and obviously manage your own risk to reward. Now, the other thing that I also want to draw your attention to is, and we kind of did say before, is that the IDO is actually happening across 3 different rounds, okay? Vent is actually closed off today. That 200,000 was just raised just like that, okay? And that was that. But that's not, the main opportunity here really, I'm going to say, is that it's going to be a DAO Maker Shoe event. And those who are not familiar with the DAO Maker Shoe events, well, let me show you. So with DAO Maker pretty much leading on this spot, what we do want to do is if we kind of go to DAO Maker and have a little look, you can see how some of these projects have performed in the past. And what you kind of want to see here is really the projects where DAO Maker have been the lead VC as well as the market maker here as well. And this is where you can then start getting an idea of where some of these projects are going. So for example, WAM, it did a 10x as an all-time high from DAO Maker. In fact, if we kind of move further down, and there's quite a few in here that I sort of came across earlier, 26x on Shopnex. That was led by DAO Maker, right? Market maker was Market Mac. But as you can start seeing, there is a bit of a pattern here that's generating. Victoria VR, 209x. The lead here was DAO Maker. So for me, these things are really bullish in terms of when I look at some of these projects. Anyway, guys, this is just really my overview for Gamium. Let me know what you think. Definitely check out their Twitter profile so you can stay up to date in terms of what's coming. So as mentioned already, today's event, which was on Vent, has already been raised, $200,000 raised and closed off. But that's not it. You still have the opportunities left on DAO Maker in order to do that. Now, if you found this type of content useful, then certainly hit the subscribe button below. Definitely hit the like button and share it around. And I will see you on the next one.